Sam Cooke wasn't just any singer, he was an icon of soul music, often called the King of Soul, known for hits like You Send Me and A Change Is Gonna Come. But behind the fame, he was also a family man. Cooke married his childhood sweetheart Barbara Campbell in 1958, and together they had 3 children, Linda, born 1953, Tracy, born 1960, and Vincent, born 1961. Tragically, their family life was struck by misfortune even before Sam's own death. Baby Vincent drowned in the family swimming pool in June 1963 when he was just 18 months old. This devastating loss hit the family hard, and it was only a grim foreshadowing of more heartbreak to come. Just a year later, on December 11, 1964, Sam Cooke himself was shot and killed under controversial circumstances at a motel in Los Angeles. He was only 33. His sudden death shocked the world and left his wife, Barbara, a widow, and their 2 young daughters fatherless. At the time of Sam's death, Linda was 11 years old, and Tracy was only 4, both far too young to fully grasp the turmoil that was about to engulf their lives. The Cooke family had now lost their patriarch barely a year after losing little Vincent. An almost unimaginable double tragedy. Sam's funeral was filled with grief and disbelief. Fans mourned the loss of a musical genius, while his family privately struggled with both the trauma of his violent death and the emptiness left by his absence. Amidst this sorrow, Barbara Campbell Cooke had to find a way to raise her girls alone. But no one could have predicted the controversial decisions she would soon make. Choices that would lead to one of the most shocking scandals in soul music history and deeply affect Sam Cooke's children. Only 77 days after Sam Cooke's death, Barbara stunned friends, family, and fans by remarrying, and not just to anyone, but to Bobby Womack, Sam's protege and close friend. Bobby Womack was an up-and-coming 20-year-old R&B singer and guitarist whom Sam had mentored. Barbara was 29 and grieving, but she and Bobby had grown close in the weeks following Sam's passing. In March 1965, just over 2 months after losing Sam, Barbara walked down the aisle with Bobby Womack, sparking outrage and disbelief. Sam's father, for one, vehemently disapproved of Barbara marrying Sam's younger friend and bringing him into the household with Sam's children. Many in Sam Cooke's family and the wider community felt the move was shockingly quick and inappropriate. The newlyweds even received hate mail from irate fans. At first, Barbara defended her decision by saying Sam would have wanted her to be happy. Bobby Womack later claimed that he truly loved Barbara and that Sam's daughters were fond of him. He even said the girls thought he looked like their dad. For a moment, it seemed this unconventional new family might find stability. Bobby moved into Sam Cooke's home and became stepfather to young Linda and Tracy, trying to create a normal life with Barbara. They even had a child together in 1966, a son they named Vincent, in memory of the infant Barbara had lost. Perhaps Barbara hoped to fill the void left by baby Vincent's death and Sam's absence by starting fresh with Bobby. But any peace was short-lived. Behind closed doors, a far more dramatic situation was brewing. Linda, Sam's eldest daughter, was growing up under the same roof as Bobby Womack. And 5 years into this arrangement, an explosive secret came to light. In 1970, Barbara discovered that Bobby Womack had been having an affair with 17-year-old Linda. The betrayal was unimaginable. Barbara's second husband had become romantically involved with her teen daughter from her first marriage. When Barbara caught wind of this, she reacted in a fit of rage and heartbreak that nearly turned deadly. One day in 1970, Barbara came home to find Bobby and Linda together. Some accounts say she actually found them in bed. Enraged, Barbara grabbed a gun. She confronted Bobby, ordered him out of the house, and then fired a shot at him at point-blank range. The bullet grazed Bobby's head, narrowly missing killing him. This dramatic confrontation spelled the end of the marriage. Barbara did not face charges for the shooting, but she immediately filed for divorce. By the end of 1970, Barbara and Bobby Womack were divorced, and the scandal was the talk of the music world. The fallout within the Cooke family was devastating. Linda, just 17 and caught in a firestorm, essentially lost her relationship with her mother from that day forward. According to Bobby Womack, Linda never spoke to Barbara again after this incident. It was a terrible and public family rift. Linda moved out, effectively estranged from her mother, and Bobby Womack left the picture entirely. He would later remarry and restart his life. For Barbara, it was yet another painful chapter. By the age of 35, she had lost her first husband to violence, lost an infant son to an accident, survived a disastrous second marriage, and become alienated from her eldest daughter. Barbara carried on quietly after the divorce, focusing on raising her younger daughter, Tracy, alone. She did not remarry again. Decades later, when Barbara Campbell Cooke died in 2021 at age 85, it was reported that she was not on speaking terms with Bobby Womack, unsurprising, or with her daughter, Linda. The wounds from 1970 never fully healed. Barbara was survived by her two daughters, Linda and Tracy, as well as a granddaughter. But due to the family's desire for privacy, very little was made public about her life in later years. Against this backdrop of tragedy and turmoil in the late 1960s, Sam Cooke's children each had to find their own path forward. Linda and Tracy in particular grew up under the shadow of their father's legend and the scandals that followed his death. Whatever happened to these two girls after those chaotic years? And how did they carry the Cooke legacy into the future? Let's start with Linda, the eldest, who lived through the eye of this storm and went on to surprise the world. Number 2, Linda Cooke Womack was Sam and Barbara's first child, and she experienced more drama by age 17 than most people do in a lifetime. She was Daddy's little girl who used to sing along to her father's tunes, and she was just entering adolescence when Sam was killed. Then she endured the confusion of seeing her mother marry another man, Bobby Womack, so soon. And finally, the trauma of that marriage collapsing in scandal, with Linda herself unintentionally at the center of it. By 1970, after the gunshot incident, Linda distanced herself from her mother and the wreckage of the Womack affair. But amazingly, this dark episode did not derail Linda's life. Instead, she forged a new path and kept music in her life, in part as a way to stay connected to her father's memory. Despite the family rift, Linda did not abandon music. In fact, as a teenager, she had already begun writing songs, perhaps influenced by being around Bobby Womack and the industry from a young age. In 1972, at just 19 years old, Linda co-wrote the hit song "Woman's Gotta Have It" for Bobby Womack. That song became a #1 R&B hit, a remarkable achievement for a young songwriter, and an indication that Linda had inherited some of her father's musical talent. Throughout the 1970s, Linda Cooke, often going by Linda Womack after her marriage, which we'll get to in a moment, built a reputation as a gifted songwriter in soul and R&B music. She penned tracks recorded by artists like Patti LaBelle and George Benson, proving that she had a knack for crafting lyrics and melodies. Linda's personal life took a positive turn as well. In the late 1970s, she found love with Cecil Womack, who, in an ironic twist, was the younger brother of Bobby Womack. Cecil Womack had been part of the Valentinos, the Womack family musical group that Sam Cooke mentored, and he was someone Linda had known since childhood. Cecil and Linda married in 1979, making headlines partly because of the Tangle family connections. Linda was now marrying the brother of her mother's ex-husband, a fact not lost on gossip columns. But unlike the earlier saga, this union was based on genuine love and a shared passion for music, and it would prove lasting and successful. Together, Linda and Cecil Womack became the musical duo Womack and Womack, and they embarked on a fruitful creative partnership. In the 1980s, Womack and Womack achieved critical and commercial success. Their debut album, Love Wars, 1984, was a hit with critics, and they scored several R&B chart hits. Most notably, in 1988, they released a soulful single called Teardrops, which became a worldwide hit and is perhaps their best-known song. If you've ever grooved to Teardrops, you might be amazed to realize the singer is Sam Cooke's daughter, Linda. With her rich voice and songwriting chops, Linda proved that she was much more than just Sam Cooke's child. She was an artist in her own right. Teardrops and other songs put Linda, under the name Linda Womack, on the map in the music industry. It was a kind of personal triumph. After all the early pain, she had taken her inheritance of talent and made something new with it. Beyond the charts, Linda and Cecil focused on family. They had 7 children together, and over time, their interests shifted toward roots and heritage. In the 1990s, the Womack family relocated to South Africa, seeking a quieter life and spiritual fulfillment. During this period, Linda underwent a personal transformation, embracing an African name, Zariah Zacharias, to reflect her new identity and faith. Even though Womack and Womack stopped releasing albums after the early 90s, Linda never truly left music behind. She and Cecil, along with some of their children, formed a group called the House of Zacharias, blending family and music into one. They performed together and kept the family's musical legacy alive, albeit away from the glare of the mainstream industry. Life brought more changes in the 2010s. Sadly, Cecil Womack passed away in 2013 at the age of 65 while in South Africa. Linda was widowed, much like her mother had been decades before, but Linda had built a strong, loving family over the years. Some of her children, now adults, have formed their own music group known as the Womack Sisters, a trio of sisters, BG, Zamani, and Cooke, who carry the torch as Sam Cooke's granddaughters and Cecil and Linda's daughters. In recent years, the Womack sisters have been gaining attention for their soulful voices, even covering their grandfather, Sam Cooke's classic, A Change Is Gonna Come, in tribute. It's a full-circle moment. Linda's lineage is extending Sam Cooke's musical legacy into a third generation, something Sam himself would surely be proud of. Today, in her early 70s, Linda, Zariah, lives a relatively private life, splitting time between the U.S. and Africa. But she remains the living link to Sam Cooke's spirit, an artist, a mother, and the survivor of an incredible family story. Number 1. Tracy Cooke. While Linda was navigating a life in music in the turmoil of the Womack saga, Tracy Cooke, Sam's younger daughter, experienced her childhood and adulthood quite differently. Tracy was only a little girl when her father died, and all the drama with Bobby Womack unfolded. In many ways, Barbara tried to shield Tracy from the chaos. After the divorce from Bobby in 1970, Barbara focused on giving Tracy a stable upbringing, away from the public eye. As a result, Tracy's life story is far more private and understated compared to her sister's high-profile journey. One notable detail is that for privacy and safety, Barbara reportedly changed Tracy's name after Sam's death. Some sources indicate that Barbara had Tracy assume a different name. One account suggests the name Sandra around 1964. The idea might have been to protect Tracy from media attention or even possible threats in the chaotic aftermath of Sam's shooting, or perhaps simply to give her a chance at a normal life, not constantly identified as Sam Cooke's daughter. If true, this name change shows the lengths to which Barbara went to guard Tracy's well-being. It also hints that Tracy was raised to value privacy. Unlike her sister, Tracy did not pursue a career in music or step into the limelight. She stayed out of show business entirely, choosing a more ordinary path. In adulthood, Tracy moved to California, where she has lived a low-profile life.